Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Middle Game podcast with Lula Robs and Emilia Castellao. This week, we are going to be discussing our dream chess tournaments that we would love to play.
I'm so excited. I have a lot of dreams. We're trying to be really excited and more how do I put we want to put a little je ne sais quoi, as Lula would say, into the podcast. So
Would I say that?
you're French.
Okay. Yeah, definitely, actually, yeah.
Maybe.
So I personally, like, whilst we were talking about our dream tournaments to play, I had the uncomfortable realization that I have played a lot of dream tournaments already. I was like, oh, Reykjavik would be such a good one to do. But wait, I've already played it twice. So if there are tournaments that we don't mention today, just know that it's probably because we're very annoying and already went to them.
That's so true. I also realized that I've attended a lot of dream tournaments, but more as a spectator. And I really had to think about, okay, what tournaments do I want to play? I was like, what time controls do I like? Well, I know what time controls I like. I'm a classical girly through and through. But I was like, what time controls do I want to play? When do I want to play them? Because, I have to think about school and my schedule. And I feel like chess, at least in Europe, the chess season kind of happens during September to April. And there's not as much chess during the summer.
I would say that there's a lot kind of in the springtime as well. And in the summer you only have a very select few tournaments and a lot of them are official tournaments as well or like bigger chess
Mhm.
festivals. So like Beale Chess Festival is in July and stuff like that. So I mean, I think there are some, but you really have to want to spend your whole summer playing chess.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not what I want to do all summer because I enjoy laying on the beach in Italy. So, first comes first, the first thing that came to mind when I was like, dream tournament that I want to attend as a player, because I've attended twice as a spectator and a photographer, is Tata Steel. They have two weekend events and a 9 round event. The time control is 90, 30 plus 30. This year, the tournament dates were from the 17th of January to the 2nd of February, and registration typically starts around November, and it's really, really hard to get into. Like, it fills up almost immediately. It's funny because Dodgy and I were actually thinking, because I went to Tata Steel earlier this year to hit the gong. I was invited. It was very fun. And but we were like, oh, should we play in Tata Steel while we're there? And when we went to register, it was completely full. So, like, that weekend in November, when the registration opened, you immediately have to register, even if you don't know if you're going to go yet, because it will fill up.
Wait, hold on. You and Dodgy were talking about playing a tournament without me.
Well, we were going to be there anyway for women in chess, and you weren't playing tournaments.
I know, but like that's the one thing that would get me to sign up for a tournament so fast is if you and Dodgy both signed up and I was gonna have FOMO.
Well, we would have told you if we would have signed up, but we never signed up. So,
Okay. Well, imagine, okay, I know that this isn't possible because at Tata Steel it's all round robins with rating groups, but imagine we signed up and we all got placed into the same round robin group.
that would be so fun.
No, that would be a nightmare. Playing against people I know is like my worst nightmare. I hate playing against my friends.
It's very nerve-wracking. I think that was like the one positive thing about Sligo is that I didn't know anyone there and I was not paired with anyone that I knew. The only person that I knew there was Dachi, and he is in a wildly different rating group than I am. And so I was very much like, it's okay. I'm not playing against people I know. I might play against mostly kids. And I think honestly, that's a little bit scarier. And it was. But at the end of the day, I think that Tata Steel is unique in that I actually don't think like a lot of kids play. They do play, but it's mostly older white Dutchmen who play.
Yeah, I've had it recommended to me specifically by Dutch and German men. I've had it recommended to me by them multiple times, and they tell me, yeah, Tata Steel is the tournament I play every year. I always go, you have to go. And every
Yeah.
time I'm like, yeah, and then I don't go.
I think people really like it because it's one of those tournaments that is obviously it has the historical prestige. It's very well known, but also too it's a very unique experience in that you get to play literally in the same room as grandmasters, and albeit there's a plastic wall dividing the amateur group and the GMs and the masters section and the challenger section, but I think that that's really cool that just in the middle of the game you can just go up and see what, Magnus Carlsen is doing or Prague or any of the I think Eileen Roberts played last year and she was chef's kiss, like incredible games to watch. And so you can just do that in the middle of your game and that's really fascinating.
Yeah, that's very rare to be able to do at an amateur tournament because, especially for bigger tournaments, usually there are multiple playing halls, or if you play in a different section, usually sometimes it has a different location altogether. So it's very cool as a chess fan. If you aren't someone who goes as a spectator to events, you love playing tournaments, but you would also love to get the opportunity to be up and close to those Grandmaster games.
And I will say, as a lover of a cute little seaside town, Bike on Zee, which is the little town in the Netherlands where it is the cutest town ever. I always love staying there. It's right on the beach. Last time I went on a walk in the morning and I saw Magnus running, and it was
This is
very
a
weird.
selling point, or
Yeah, you can just go see like grandmasters running on the beach in the morning or doing their
Mhm.
morning walk because the town is really small. It's really great. I would highly recommend this little seaside town.
I also heard it's great because the town is so small that when you open Tinder, you get to see all the Grandmasters' Tinder profiles.
Um, I want to point out right now that I am engaged, but I also can confirm that previously when I was not engaged, this is true.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys played Tata Steel, I would definitely play Tata Steel. I think for me, the only thing that's put me off in the past is the fact that it's a round robin. And if you guys don't know what that means, it means that you're all split into smaller groups by rating, and then you all play each other within that group. So instead of being paired with literally anybody of the hundreds of people in the tournament, you have a small defined group where from day one, you know who's in it and you can begin preparing against them because you know eventually you'll play all of them. So this, I think some people find this appealing. I find it off-putting because I kind of like the randomness of chess tournaments, but then I'm also very unlucky at chess tournaments when I always get paired up against like unrated players. At Tata Steel, you would know that that wouldn't happen because you would know who's in your rating category. So I guess this would be good, but I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about round robins.
I've never played a round robin before, but honestly, that sounds really appealing to me. But also, I like to know everything before it happens, and I need to be able to control every little detail. So maybe that's just a neurotic me thing, but I think that knowing who I'm going to play and being able to at least prepare a little bit, because in Sligo, which is literally the only tournament that I can compare anything to, was paired literally mostly against unrated players. There was one
Mhm.
rated player that I was paired up against, and I could kind of like prepare for him, but it was mostly unrated children, and that was not fun.
I think especially it must have been hard for you because you were also unrated, and as an unrated player, you really need to get those rated games in. Otherwise, you can't get your own FIDE rating. So, like, I understand why you have these rating categories for beginners, but the beginners end up just playing against each other and nobody ends up with a FIDE rating, which
Yeah.
I guess if you feel like you're under the level to start playing these bigger tournaments, okay, it's not a big deal. But I think that, if you're specifically traveling to a tournament, which I know you were because you don't live in Sligo, and like you're going all the way there, I think personally I would be disappointed not to come out with a FIDE rating. And I think that there's a couple of reasons they do it. Also, because it makes it more appealing to people in the higher categories because they know they won't play against unrated players. And a lot of people, myself included, find it very frustrating to be paired against unrated players. But I think this is where you have to choose your tournaments carefully based on what you want out of them. I would want to come out with a FIDE rating, and I feel bad for you that you had to play so many unrated players.
It's okay. I actually don't think I would have played enough rounds in Sligo anyway to have come out with the FIDE rating because it's only 5 rounds.
Mm.
One, yeah.
You need 5 games.
Oh, never mind. I
Yeah.
take it back.
So it would be usually, well, unless they've changed it, it's 5 games against rated players, and you score at least half a point. Or at
Okay.
least that's what it was. But now they've changed the ratings and they upped the boundaries. So I don't know because they changed that this year or last year or something. But I think that's still the rule. That was always the rule before. But yeah, you'll have to tell me if you play Tata Steel because inevitably I will end up coming.
Well, yeah,
Um,
if I feel like we're doing this episode on our dream tournaments to attend, but really this is just Lula and I deciding which tournaments we're going to go together to next year or in the near future.
My first dream tournament that I want to talk about today is one that I watched a little bit of this year. And for a split, brief second, I considered going. And then I was like, no, I'm not playing any tournaments this year. I'm super out of shape. I haven't studied in such a long time. But that tournament is the European Women's Chess Championships, which this year was in Greece. And this is like an ECU official tournament. And it's 11 rounds, just like the Olympiad. So it's really long. It's a very long tournament. And it's 90-30 with the extra 30 minutes time control. Of course, this is a women's tournament, so it's open to all women players that represent national federations that are ECU members. So basically, women under European flags mostly.
It's
But there's
great
no
for
rating or title requirement, is which is good for me. And I really enjoyed like. Okay, the Olympiad was really tough for many reasons, but I really enjoyed playing against women there. That's like the highlight of it for me was I had never been in a room with so many women where I would get to play chess with them and that they all played chess and we all had it as a shared interest. And that was a very singular, unique experience for me that I've never experienced again. And I think going to an event like the European Women's would be very similar, and I would be able to reconnect with people I met at the Olympiad. I would be able to reconnect with other creators that I know, meet new people because it's so hard to meet other girls in chess. And I was watching Lile Koridze play. She's a WFM from Georgia. I was doing some commentary for her games because she played, but she didn't have a camera because it's against regulations. So we just had her DGT board because I believe everybody at the tournament gets a DGT board, which is another nice thing. You get to follow people's games. And I did have a little bit of FOMO when I was commentating. I was like, oh, it must be, great. Also, it's in Greece. There's a swimming pool. It's summer. So this, like, if I'm feeling good about it next year, I might actually play this one next year.
And I can happily say that I could go play it with you too, because technically, although I am American, I am registered under the Austrian Chess Federation. And so,
Woo!
woo! And so hopefully they'll let me in to play too.
Yeah, because you just have to be, playing under that flag. There are loads of people, who change federations and change flags, and it doesn't make them, you wouldn't be disqualified for being an American as long as you have the Austrian flag.
Yeah. And I have
Yeah.
to say, I want to give a huge thank you to Willie Icklicky, the chair of the historical committee of FIDE, for when he registered me like as a member. He didn't even ask me. He just put me under the Austrian flag, and that was truly the best decision that ever could have been made in on my behalf. So thank you to Willie. But that sounds like a really great tournament. I would also love to be in a room full of women just playing chess. Really, that's, I think, the ideal setup for me. Because I don't know about you, this also is just being informed by my service doing Women in Chess Foundation stuff, but being in a very male dominated space when you're playing chess, I think can be really intimidating, especially if it's your first time playing. And so I really like that there's no like rating or title requirements for this tournament. I think that really gives women the opportunity to, even if they're not like a top level chess player, to just go and experience playing chess in a room full of women who also love to play chess. I think that that's such an invaluable experience.
I agree. I think as a woman chess player, this is such a privilege to have a place where you can do that because, like you said, the majority of chess tournaments are very male dominated. I would say the majority of chess tournaments I have been to, I've been the only young woman there. So often you have a couple of kids who are girls, and then sometimes you have a couple of older ladies who are there. But I have been the only woman between 18 and 40 at multiple tournaments. And it's a very isolating experience because, a lot of people do make friends at chess tournaments and it's harder to make friends outside of your demographic. I have done it and I've done it successfully. And it's not like I don't want to be friends with men or I don't want to be friends with people of different ages because I do, but there's nothing like that kinship of like meeting somebody who's kind of your age and a woman in chess and you have so many shared experiences and common ground. So I think that this tournament is probably my number one for tournaments I would like to play.
I love that. I think you will definitely get there, and I can absolutely see us playing in this tournament.
I would love for you to come. That would be so good. And we could like
A
we could share a
room?
hotel. We can make small videos. It'd be so
Yeah,
fun.
it
I
would
would
be so
love
fun.
it.
Same. I think also too, where I can see us playing is, and it's also another dream tournament of mine, is I really want to play in the Brilton Cup. It's a 90-30 plus 30. It's 9 rounds. There's a new format this year that it's 60 plus 30. And it's this year going to be from the 27th of December to the 5th of January, which is over my birthday. My birthday is the 30th of December. So I just think it would be so fun to play. Maybe this is a weird thing that only chess players feel, but I was like, it would be so fun to play a chess tournament on my birthday.
Would you take a bye for your birthday? Because I once played a chess tournament over my birthday, and on the actual day I took a bye so that I could just do fun stuff there, and then I played all the other rounds.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll see
Mm.
how I'm doing. It depends on how I'm doing in the tournament too, I think.
Okay,
So, um,
yeah, that's fair. In case you win the tournament.
yeah, like I could be
Yeah,
winning and, I always like if I'm winning, I have to play. So,
yeah.
um, but there's also an open and an under 2200s and an under 1800 section. And
Hmm.
it's in Stockholm, Sweden, for those who don't know. I feel like the vibe would be really fun. And so, like, if me and Lula and Dodgy all went, because Dodgy also lives in Sweden, for those who don't know, he lives in an undisclosed location in the Arctic Circle.
It's like one of those old army bases, and he's
Yeah,
the only living human within like 500 miles.
exactly, exactly. And so, you know, I have been to Sweden before. Dodgy and I went
I've
to,
never been. I would love to come.
yeah, Dodgy and I went to Malmo to go to Tepe Sigmen. So, but Malmo was okay. I feel like there are better cities in Sweden.
I read a book this year that was set in Stockholm, and now I really want to visit. So I would love to, especially over like just after Christmas, around New Year's. I feel like the winter vibes would be impeccable. I feel like the atmosphere would be so fun. And also, I know that it's a streamer friendly tournament. So for me, that adds another plus. And for chess fans, I guess that probably adds a plus. Like if you want to see Anna Cranling, she usually streams it, and Pia's usually there. So like that's a really cool vibe as well to have streamers at a tournament. It makes the whole thing like a bit more fun.
How
And
how
yeah,
hard is it to find like a tournament that is streamer friendly?
to be honest, it just depends on your budget as a streamer because I mean, there are some which are very clearly streamer friendly. But if you just want to choose a random tournament, I want to say last summer I reached out to a bunch of tournaments, like smaller ones in Europe, that I thought would be either in cool locations or not too expensive to stay, not too expensive to travel to. and a lot of them were extremely negative about streaming at the tournaments. Some of them said, "Why don't you just come and play, and then we'll decide on the day," which is a
Not
crazy
how it
take.
works.
Some of them were like, "Interesting that you want to promote chess this way. We disagree with it." So I would say if you just want to play a tournament because you think the tournament looks like fun or because you want to travel to a city, you're going to have a really hard time trying to stream that event. Um, but if you are happy to go to these bigger tournaments like Sitges, Rilton, Formentera, Reykjavik, Reykjavik's harder now because they pick and choose their streamers, so you're not guaranteed to be able to go to stream there. But like these bigger, more like active on social media tournaments, you can definitely stream at them. But yeah, I would say your average standard chess tournament, they're going to tell you to go elsewhere still.
That sucks. I feel like it's such good publicity when a streamer wants to come, and I feel like at least I've seen the setup, and it's very easy to kind of show like, okay, this is my streaming setup. I'm not cheating, like my phone that is helping to stream. It's on the floor, like the arbiter can check it. The camera's pointing at me. There's nothing showing. And so I feel like it's such a good way to get publicity that tournaments should be at least open to discussing it. I know that some tournaments it's tricky because of the venue. Maybe there's not Wi-Fi, or
I've streamed many tournaments without Wi-Fi and I've had to use my own data. It's honestly usually just based on if the tournament is if they have a young arbiter or if they have a very traditional arbiter, because there's nothing really in the FIDE handbook about streaming. Obviously, the FIDE handbook says no electronic devices, but obviously a lot of tournaments allow streamers and FIDE has never said anything against this. And of course, all official tournaments have many cameras with computers set up and like many broadcasting stations. So I think usually it's just down to the willingness of the organizers. I mean, yes, usually I ask for a fixed board, but this is something that every tournament really has to have because, for example, not saying, of course, that it's equivalent, but if you have a disability, you can request a fixed board. And I don't think that a tournament is going to deny you that. Every chess tournament should be, kitted out with the ability to give people fixed boards. Again, not saying that streamers like have the right to have them, but there shouldn't really be a reason to say no to that unless, I guess they've already given 10 fixed boards at the event and they have no more capacity. But I've never come across this ever. But other than a fixed board, I would request a DGT board. But I've also expressed flexibility and said, if you don't have DGT boards, that's fine. They can take the moves just from the camera. Like I'm flexible. When I email them and when I ask, I'm very flexible. I'm like, even if you can't give me a fixed board, I can try and make it work. But often I'm met with no flexibility in return at these smaller events. And I think, it's put me off playing more local tournaments because I had a bad experience with one local-ish one in France where I was meant to be going and streaming, and then they were really iffy about it, and they were really iffy about there being a second streamer and stuff like this. But I don't think there's ever been any scandal of a chess streamer cheating ever. And so I don't even think there's like a precedent for suspicion or a precedent for, not following the FIDE handbook because we're all so careful. And I think it's genuinely just do they want to do it? Do they want there to be streamers? And if the answer is no, then they won't do anything for you.
Well, luckily the Wilton Cup isn't like this, and it's very streamer friendly. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm really excited about this. I have a good feeling about this stream tournament that it'll actually come to fruition. If not this year, for sure. Mr. Dodgy's going this year to test it out for us to see if we all want to play next year. But next year, I have a feeling we're going to end up at the Wilton Cup.
I would be down to play next year. I'm so in for sending Mr. Dodgy as our guinea pig for like every event. Probably can't do that with the European women's, but like the rest of them, I would so be down to send Dodgy as our like undercover reporter. I'm like getting a minor amount of FOMO because I know quite a few streamers who are talking about playing it this year. But I'm going home to visit my parents over Christmas because I don't see them very often and kind of clashes. So it's something I would have to weigh up because Christmas is quite a big deal for me and going to visit family.
That's fair. I'm not going home for Christmas.
It's far for you.
It is very far.
I get it. But I do have a one tournament that's closer to home for you that I would love to play. Probably not for like the next 5 years, given the Orange Man. But I would love to play the National Open at the Las Vegas International Chess Festival. I've had people tell me to go and play it multiple times before, but it's just really expensive to get there from here and to stay there and to go to America and to do the visa and to do everything. And so I think for me, if I were to play this, it would probably be once in a lifetime. But I think it would be really cool to just, meet a lot of US chess players that I've either spoken to online or that I've heard of. And I also know that there are many, many, many categories and many different events and side events. There's a 90-30 event, there's a 60-10, there's like rapid. There are so many events. There are also really, really huge prize funds there compared to most European tournaments at the very minor cost of having to bring your own clock. So I actually had this conversation with like a kid at a chess tournament once where he was American. He was like, I'm so not used to them providing the clock. And I was like, yeah, that's crazy that in the US you have to take your own clock. And he was like, yeah, I think that's why we have bigger prize funds. And I was like, okay, 13-year-old boy, I don't think the clock budget is what's doing it. But
That's so funny.
um, yeah, the prize funds are big though. But I mean, not saying that I would go for the money. I probably wouldn't win any money. I would be willing to take my own clock for this on a one-time basis. The chess tournaments in the US seem to be so different from in Europe that I would like to experience that once. And they also have other events like mixed doubles where a man and a woman will like play in a team and stuff. So it's like they have
Ooh,
loads of fun events too,
I
and
love
like
that.
silly and like quirky. So I think it would be a really amazing experience. I don't know how they feel about streaming though. I've never really looked into it. I don't know if anyone's streamed there before, but I'm sure within the next few years, I'm sure the Bota sisters will go and stream it or something. And usually it takes, one of the biggest streamers going to a tournament for them to change their outlook on streaming.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing as I probably wouldn't go there anytime really soon, I'm not worried about that. That's not really something I'm like, oh, I won't go because I can't stream. And I think even if I couldn't, I would be able to film so much amazing content there too. And with all of this concurrent events going on there with mixed doubles, with the rapid, with the 3 rounds a day that would drive me insane. I just think it would be so unique. I think that it would be different from literally any tournament in Europe.
For sure. And we can stay at my dad's timeshare.
Wait, your dad has a timeshare in Vegas?
Well, my dad has a timeshare, and you can do this thing where if they have a location in a specific city, you can switch to have your timeshare for that city. And you
Oh,
just have to pay a little extra fee. But I did that for my 21st birthday, is I went to Vegas. So,
that's so cool. I've never been.
yeah.
I also have read like a lot of horrific like accounts of it in fiction. So I would love to see that.
Okay. What didn't Beth Harmon play there though in The Queen's
Oh
Gambit?
yeah, that's like the one good account I've seen of Las Vegas in fiction. And that is actually a big part of why I would to go there. I would love to create the Beth Harmon tour where you play through all of the tournaments that she did on her way to Moscow. So you would start with the Kentucky State Championship. I could play the Kentucky State Championship, right?
You could,
And then
I think.
and then she plays in Cincinnati. She plays in Pittsburgh. She plays in Houston. Do you say like
It's
Houston?
Houston.
Okay, that's what I was saying. Houston.
Yeah, Houston.
Okay. And then she plays the US Open, which just so happens to be in Las Vegas, but I feel like I would get the same experience from playing the National Open, which is always in Las Vegas. And then she plays one in Mexico City, the Ohio US Championship. She then plays in Paris, which would be perfect for me because I live here, so I could stop here. On my way, probably not to Moscow because of the war.
Well, not right now,
Um,
but
but
later.
like but yeah, by the time I get, the funding for the
Yeah.
US for the Beth Harmon tour, by the time the Beth Harmon tour is funded, I think we'll be able to go to Moscow. Yeah.
Sponsors, you can reach out to us on our Instagrams, either at Lula Robs or at Emilia in Vienna, if you want to sponsor a Beth Harmon tour for us.
I would actually love that. And also, I would love to go to like Kentucky. Like, why
Okay.
not? I don't, why not? Like, the home of chicken? Yes.
Not the home of chicken. I think you mean the home of Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like, surely that's where they invented chickens as well.
maybe. I'll have to look into it. I'm not up on my Kentucky history.
Me neither. I don't know. Okay, maybe I don't want to go there if they didn't invent chickens.
Aren't you a vegetarian?
No, I used to be vegan, but now I'm not.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Otherwise, the Kentucky State Championship would probably not be on my dream chess tournaments list, but the Beth Harmon Tour makes it, a big deal for me.
Yeah, we can even dress up as Beth Harmon and wear like the cool outfits like she did.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Same.
Yeah.
This is why
Wait,
we're best friends.
would we both be dressed as Beth Harmon, like with the same outfit and the same wig, or?
Yeah, and then we could be like the scary evil twins from The Shining.
Okay. Or I could be what's his name? The guy with the hat. I could be with the guy with the hat.
Benny?
Yeah, I could be Benny Woods. I could grow a beard and a mustache and be Benny Woods.
Okay, that works, I guess.
Or you could be Benny Woods.
No, I want to be the sexy gay guy.
Oh, Towns. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Towns.
Yeah, okay, we can be Townsend Benny. I think that's
Okay.
better than being
Dodgy can be Beth.
exactly.
I really need to rewatch The Queen's Gambit. I want to
Yeah.
see like if it aged well.
Yeah, I think that we should definitely do that. We can watch it together on what's that app called? Tele
Netflix.
No. No, the one where you can watch movies together. We did it all during like the first year that we were friends.
Is it legal? I don't know if it's legal.
You're saying we were doing something illegal during our first year of friendship?
Is that not how friendships are made?
That's so true. Okay, anyway.
Now a word from our sponsor, Squarespace. Anyway, I think that there are definitely other tournaments I would really want to play again. Like, I would love to play in the Olympiad again. I would love to play Reykjavik again. I should probably play in the Paris Championnat again. But those are definitely my top two. I would definitely be interested, though, to hear from the viewers what their dream tournaments are, because I definitely am not up to date on all of the tournaments. I don't know what all of the best tournaments are. I just see what everybody else is playing online, and like a little sheep, I follow. I don't know where they research them. I don't know where they find them because there's like no good chess calendar. And yeah, so please comment down below your dream chess tournament and I will check it out.
Same. I definitely 100% would go to Sligo chess tournament again. They're actually expanding it into a festival this year.
Ooh.
I don't know much of the details yet on that, but Sligo, honestly, I think I got a little spoiled. It was such an amazing first tournament. Craig, the guy who is the organizer, he just like 10 out of 10, loves chess, wants to make a great chess environment for everyone, especially like female players. And so they have WICF advocates there. He really makes sure that he has up to date safe play guidelines. Everyone gets a DGT board. So, like your friends and family, when I would come back to the room, my fiance would be on a call with his two friends who also play chess. And they would be like, Emilia, you missed this line. And I'd be like, it's my first tournament. I don't know what I'm doing. And so it was really super fun. And again, I'm a sucker for a little seaside town. Sligo is on the west coast of Ireland. And so it was beautiful. I did not get used to driving on the left side of the road though. That really gave me high blood pressure.
It's so
Um,
easy. It's how it
yeah,
should be.
Okay. Anyway, but besides Sligo, which I definitely want to go to again, um, I also my goal in 2026 is I want to play. Well, one, I want to join a like club here in Austria, and then I also want to play in the Austrian Women's League. That's my goal for 2026. Join a chess club, play in the Austrian Women's League.
I would love to see that happen, especially because I know you've been talking about joining the Austrian Women's League for quite a while. But it's very intimidating to join the league and it's like a big commitment. So, but I would love to follow your games in the league and I would love to see you, progress and play more classical games. So I'm
Thanks.
advocating for that.
Thanks. And I'm advocating for you getting back to over the board chess. I think you will soon.
Woo! Yes.
Yay.
Thank you guys for listening or watching to today's episode. Don't forget, we are a video podcast, so you can also watch us if you want to see our very stylish jumpers. And please like and follow if you haven't already. And we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.